We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're talking with Glenn Cranfield, President and CEO of the Nashville Rescue Mission. And the thing about it, it really is a city unto itself. You're a CEO. You're almost like a mayor of a little city. You have 150 paid employees.
Yes, that's
correct?
right.
In addition to, on any given day, for instance, last night, it's been cold lately, how many people were sleeping in the mission last night?
Between 800 and 850. And I heard the exact number yet this morning, but it's going to be in that range.
How often do you have to turn people away? And if it gets to that point, or what is the capacity? And gosh, if you reached it, what do you do when someone shows up and they're freezing and you can't let them in? How do you? I'm telling you right now, you don't let that happen. Sure. You're going to find a place for them, even if that's in your basement,
right,
or at your house.
Yeah, we have some large rooms,
okay,
and so we take those and use those for overflow. The chapel, for example. So we put down.
Do you have to do that often?
Right now, we're doing it pretty much every night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Through the winter time. And so, of course, now with the women and the children and the men all on the one campus.
It's tighter.
But so we have rooms for overflow. We don't turn anyone away for lack of space. We'll find a space for them. It's cold, it's hot outside. As Ann said, you know, they get a warm meal. They need a warm, safe place to spend the night. And so we want them to come in and feel secure and not sleeping out on the street somewhere.
Well, they typically, I mean, I guess it varies, but if someone comes in at the night, spends the night, gets up, has breakfast, and then they'll leave. They could be gone all day. Who knows? Just walking around town, visiting friends, whatever. And they'll come back that night? Or are there guidelines on when they can come and how they can come back and forth?
Oh, that's right. The scenario you just described is very common. They do that. And one of the things that people don't understand is many of them have jobs.
I was about to ask you, how many of them are actually able to work and make some money?
60% of them do work,
jobs.
And they're working for minimum wage, or they do day labor and different things on construction crews, and so they do work, and they just can't maintain independent living, and certainly in the community like here at Nashville, where it's just skyrocketing.
Think how much
right?
it costs just to get an apartment, first and last month's rent, utilities, all that.
Exactly.
You need a chunk of change, but they're working, and when they do come sometimes, or they want to work, or they're trying to get set up, I mean, you guys can help them get a bank account, set things like that up?
Absolutely. We help them. We have, through our Gift in Kind ministry, which people donate different things, household appliances, I mean, just simple things like plates, forks, knives, and spoons, dinnerware. We can help them and set them up with those things. And so we actually help other ministries and other agencies in town that are helping place people in the housing. They can actually come to our area and get those items that they need, if we have them, to be able to set up their apartment or their living space.
Now, how often do you see, and I'm sure you have several yourself and many of your staff have seen someone who's been there, typical length of stay, and that they do get back on their feet?
Yeah.
Can you give me an anecdote?
There is no typical length of stay. I mean, like we're saying, it's so complex. Everybody's different.
Or they may show up and not show up again for 6 months. Yeah. Okay.
But our program is 7 to 12 months. We say 7 to 12 months because 7 of instruction, counseling, and therapy, and so forth. The last 4 months, job training, job readiness, resume writing, and interviewing, and so forth. And so when we see them go on, and it's so great when you see someone, you know, I was just talking to somebody the other day about I'm one of the most blessed people in Nashville, I think, because I go out to eat with my wife, right? And we'll order, and then the guy will come and tap me on the shoulder, and I turn around and it's a waiter, and he says, "You don't know me, but I'm," you know, and he tells me his name, and I'm a graduate of Nashville Rescue Mission. And you know, that happens so often.
That's just awesome.
So often, you know, when you see people get back on their feet, back together again, we see husbands and wives restored, children brought back to the family. It's incredible. That's what I'm talking about. The highs are very high.
Yeah, that's wonderful to see that. That's what it's all about. But you know, the different people that come through there, I remember the lines, there's going to be some that, as you say, need to get educated and get those basics that you're training them in. But I mean, I've seen people come through that line in a suit and tie.
Yes.
One carrying a briefcase. I'm saying these are professional, educated people. Now, I don't know what kind of hardship they encountered. Could have been substance abuse, could have been some kind of, but I mean, these are folks that at one time, I mean, there may be some that come to the mission that have never really reached a level of education or really self-sufficiency, but there are others who were there and lost it.
Right.
And I mean, you see some professionals coming through?
Oh, absolutely. You know, in my years, both here in Oklahoma City, here in Nashville and in Oklahoma City, there have been people with degrees. There have been people that are nurses. A particular woman comes to mind that was a nurse, and she had 4 kids, and she couldn't sustain independent living, and and child care and all that was going on, and she just got into a spiral that caused her to be homeless. And we see things like that. You know, it's not just the middle-aged man that is what we used to call the street bum. You know, it's the middle-aged man and the alcoholics. They're still there, absolutely, but there are more and more people that just can't navigate through the current economic situation.
And they want to get, now with them and your help, I think a lot of them bounce back, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the great thing is we want them to come to us. We want, if you're in need and you're hurting and you can't make ends meet and you lose your house or apartment, we want you to come to us because we can stabilize you and your family. Your children get back in school, and then we can help you with counseling and help you with therapy and deal with some of those issues, as well as job readiness, job training, and job placement. So we are that's why we exist.
Okay, and so just so we understand this then, and maybe you can spell it out. All right, so someone hits maybe not complete rock bottom, but they don't have a place to live. They've lost their job. Let's say they don't have a child. And I guess word of mouth, and they hear about it, and they're like, they don't know what to do. And someone says, well, go to this place over there and Lafayette, and just, they show up. And they don't know anything. They walk in the front door, right? And they're like, you know, I don't know what they say. It's like, I'm not sure, but I was told that I could get some help here. So what's the step? How do you enroll them in?
Absolutely. Just walk through the front door. First time here, and we assign them immediately to a case manager. And so now they have an advocate.
So they're going to sit down with someone and tell their story.
They're going to sit down with someone and tell the story, tell the life story, tell them what happened, what the deal is, what the cause is, and then we're going to tell them who we are and what we do and what we can do to help. We're going to, if they don't have ID, how we can help them get
what if
their
they don't have ID? Or
how we can, how we can.
Is there any prerequisite besides the fact you can't bring weapons, you can't bring drugs, alcohol, or anything in there, and you have to abide by civil guidelines that you have to live among people?
Yeah.
But is there any other prerequisite where you would turn someone away?
No, there's not. There's not. And a lot of people have told me, said we need to do some type of check for people that come through the meal time, you know, because we feed more people than actually spend the night there.
Well, do you have to spend the night to feed?
No, I'm not doing that. I mean, you're coming to Nashville Rescue Mission because you're hungry. We're going to feed you, right? And so I'm not looking for a water bill. I'm not looking for a street address. You're in line to receive one of our meals, and our heart and our compassion says that we're going to give you that meal. And you may not spend the night there, but then if I can help you with meals, and then you can take that money and use it to pay your rent, then I'm preventing homelessness.
Darn right.
Right?
Darn right.
And so it's a kind of a situation we look at differently than a lot of people.
But they can't just walk off if they've never been there before and just saunter into the cafeteria. It's something where you have to come through the front door. You get to know them anyway, or you know who's coming in.
Right.
And then after that, they have a means of coming in. You know who they are, and they may spend the night or not, but they can come and eat.
Right, right.
And they may leave. And maybe they come a few times because they're not sure about spending the night yet, and then they see it, and then they decide, I'm going to enroll and do more.
Right. And for everyone that spends the night, we have a record of that. We know exactly who's there every single night. Now, for the meal, not, because a lot of people come and eat a meal that don't spend the night there, right? And so they're just accessing the meal. Yeah. And so the meal is y'all come.
That's fine.
We're here.
And you think some of them, I would imagine many of them who show up just for the meal and aren't spending the night are the very ones that are living in these encampments that they're going to be talking about at the meeting tonight at the library.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I mean, they and some of them
right.
choose they'd rather stay out there in their tent or whatever circumstance than stay at the mission, but they need food.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're there to feed them.
Okay, and as far as the food's concerned, again, I see Thanksgiving, and you guys cook a better turkey than me. I'm telling you. I know you guys have a lot of those fried turkeys, which are amazing, but with the food, I mean, you take a little pride in the food. This is not people going through a line and getting a plate of gruel. I mean, these people get good, healthy food.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in the food.
I mean, you have people back there that can cook.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But the meal dictated. I love this story. You've told me before about where sometimes the food comes. You don't turn it away as long as it's fresh and good. You've had lobsters dropped off.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Tell that story.
Yeah, there was at the Music City Center. There was a banquet, and they were serving lobster, and so they had lobster left over, and so we have a great relationship with them, and so they, as they often do, will bring their leftover food. And they brought over so many lobsters at the rescue mission, and our people are looking at this like, this is not going to go over well, publicly. We're serving lobster at Nashville Rescue Mission.
Well, and some of the people seeing that on their plate are going, what the heck?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, so you bring lobster. The food comes from where? You talked about some of these food pantries, right?
Right.
And donations, the type of food. At Thanksgiving, the turkeys come in. What else are you looking for? Is it, hams?
Hams at Christmas time, turkeys, of course, Thanksgiving time, number 10 cans of vegetables. When you're doing 14 and 1,500 meals a day, those small 16-ounce cans, that gets over real quick. But those number 10 cans, but, we receive so much food donated, through different agencies, through different, the food bank is an incredible supporter of Nashville Rescue Mission. But then beyond that, grocery stores, different eating establishments, they'll bring us, food that's already even been prepared, and pizzas and so forth that we're able to send out. But the community of Nashville and Middle Tennessee, and I've been here 10 years, and it still strikes me as incredibly benevolent and generous.
Yeah.
When I go into the back of the warehouse and I'll see a pallet, just a huge box and a pallet of potatoes that some grocery stores said, we want to give this to you.
Yeah, it's just wonderful.
And it just happens every single day.
Gosh, well, the word's out. And by the way, I'm just curious, do hunters, did you take venison and things like that?
There's the different groups, as you're mentioning,
they'll kind of cut it and
bring the venison, right? Bring the venison, and certain processing folks will bring beef and pork and all those kinds of things. But it's not just vegetables, there's meats and so forth, turkeys and venison and pork and beef.
There's fresh foods. There's fresh foods. It's not just canned, which are non-perishable, which is important. But I mean, you'll have fresh fruits, vegetables, and it's because you go through it. It doesn't sit and go bad. I'm telling you,
right.
If you send it to the mission, they're going to use it. We're going to take a break, and they'll use it quick, and they'll need more. When we come back, final segment, we're going to talk about the giving and the needs that are there, especially as we head up into the Christmas and holiday season. We'll be right back.